This video is going to cover the spring show hair requirements. So you guys are awesome. You guys are always really good about having nice, slicked, neat hair. But just in case anyone needs a review, we're going to go over like a nice ballet bun, what we're hoping for the spring performance coming up. We're thinking high, slicked buns, flat ballet buns with no part. Because not only is it a safety hazard, but we want to look all professional and clean cut so that you guys as dancers feel really ready and prepared and professional. What you're going to need for a nice BKS ballet bun is obviously a hairbrush. I always like to use like a comb as well, especially if you're ever needing a part. Definitely want a comb. Any head pieces that you might need to come with pinned. I have just this flower I'm going to use. Hair nets that match the color of my hair. This is just an extra one. Always bring extras of everything. And then for bobby pins, I have these really nice and big, thick blonde bobby pins. They're like 2 or 3 inches long. I don't know if you can see those. These are kind of worth it. If you don't have them, don't feel like you have to go out and get them. You can use whatever bobby pins. These are really awesome though. Also, I have hairspray, hair gel, and I have hair elastics. I use, honestly, at least 2 hair elastics. My hair is long. It's not crazy thick, but you should have a nice hold. You don't want your ponytail starting to slide out with any like head rolls or any big acro moves, any of that. So let's get started. I like to start with my hair wet. I just got out of the shower. My hair's a little bit dry, like it's kind of just damp. That's how I like to do it. So it's wet and really easy to slick, but it's not like soaking wet and heavy on my head. If you feel like once you're working you want that to be even more wet, like if your hair's dried a little too much, get a spray bottle. Put a little water on your hand and run it through your hair. There's plenty of ways to get your hair just that perfect amount of wetness. And now I'm leaning over, and honestly, it's easiest, in my opinion, to do this on yourself. I know that when you're younger, if you're in the Young Children's Program, oh my gosh, of course. For me, I feel like Ballet 3A and up, you guys can be doing this on your own. You have more control, and plus, you guys are ready. You guys can all do your stage makeup, your stage hair on your own. You guys should be packed the night before. It's your responsibility, right? So this height is, I like this height. They say that they want the height of a nice ballet bun that's going straight back to be right in line with like the line of your chin. And to me that makes sense. It completes the line of your head. So from here, I'm gonna go in with either a spray bottle, or maybe my hair is just a little bit more wet when I'm starting, or I am just wetting my hair myself. Super important that this is slicked and straight back. Also, a good point, make sure that you are wearing like a zip up. Maybe your over-under or your undergarments, if you have that requirement, are already on, so you don't have to worry about messing up your hair at any point. So now that I'm slicked and I'm in the height that I like, I'm gonna shake up my gel. I prefer gel over hairspray. You'll use them both. Now I'm getting a decent amount. And I'm just gonna spread it out evenly. I would say do your hair before you do your makeup in the event that you need to put some water on your hair. You don't want that to drip down. I'm gonna go in with this nice comb. I have options on this comb. And I'm going to start closer to my face and just tighten, 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 and slick this back. You're gonna wanna even use like a really fine pick comb. And don't worry about this messiness. That's gonna be there. We'll fix that. But this is kind of how you're training it to dry, and it's just gonna help you be tighter. So now I'm gonna go back in and take that ponytail out and use my hand as a placeholder. Now I'm really gonna try not to let anything else budge because I set that and I like that. And I'm just gonna go back in, maybe with my comb, maybe with my brush, maybe just with my hand, and just tighten it as tight as I can and try to brush out just the very edge of where that ponytail holder was. And matching that perfect height. Awesome, and now we're gonna put a second elastic. I always double elastic my hair. I have new tight elastics, so I know they're not gonna snap. Now this is my second loop around. Some people with really thick hair maybe even use 3. Now from this point, I'm gonna give it a little spray. Now, as I'm building my bun, I'm gonna do my best to make sure it's flat and make sure that it's even and make sure that it's just as flat and tight to my head as I can. We wanna try to avoid like the doorknob kind of donut big buns. You really want a nice flat to the head bun. So I just twisted that. Let me do that one more time. I'll try and go slow. I'm twisting the ponytail as one piece, pretty tight, but not so tight that it's like twisting out of control. And then I'm going with that direction of the twist. And again, I don't know how important that is. That's just how I do it. And I'm trying my best to keep it flat. So instead of taking that second loop like underneath like that, I'm pressing it totally directly alongside of it. More of like a cinnamon roll than a donut, if you will. So I'm gonna do my final twist here. I'm holding it from the bottom and just pressing it down as I go. Tucking that last little bit of maybe dead ends underneath. Now before I put my pins in to kind of set my marker, I'm just making sure that it's centered, that it's high, that it looks flat. And now I'm gonna take a pin, just kind of find a spot where I wanna put maybe my first couple of placeholder pins in. And when I do it, I like to stick it in and grab the hair and then thread it back through. So I'm coming from the top, grabbing just a little bit, pulling it toward the outside, and then pushing it back in. And even with just one pin, it's kind of like such an awesome pin that it's like holding my hair up. I'm gonna do one probably just opposite that, or maybe like 2/3 of the way around. And again, I don't know if you can see that, but I'm pulling out and then diving back in. I try to get my hairnet on this as fast as I can. I'll usually do 1 or 2, if that, pins. And then I'm gonna take my hairnet in. It's so important to use a hairnet. You guys need to all use hairnets. I wrap my hairnet 1, 2, 3 times. So that was 3 wraps. And it goes all the way around, and that little elastic at the edge kind of scoops up and under to hold it in place. Now, every time that I make that weave motion, I want to get the hairnet in with it, so it's all cohesive. So I'm taking the pin from the end, I'm finding a spot where I haven't put one in yet, I'm pulling it up and out, and then diving under. Now make sure that these are comfortable. If you put one in and it's kind of pushing on another one, take it out, redo it. You gotta have this bun in for a long time, so you wanna make sure that it can last and that it feels good, because that'll give you a headache. Now I'm going to do a couple at the bottom. Again, I'm kind of pulling it out, going back in. I'll do one over here. And we don't need to be light and easy on the pins. Like I just put one in that feels a little tight. I'm gonna just kind of wiggle it in much better. So none of my pins are like sticking out on the other end. None of them you can see jetting out from the front. Now I'm going to go back in with my hairspray. This stage hair, it looks so extreme. Like I wouldn't just go out of my house like this. I mean, I would go teach like this, but I wouldn't just go to the mall like this. It might feel extreme, it might feel intense, but this is what is required and what is needed for the stage. These things we don't just make up, they're in place for a reason. Same thing with makeup, same thing with any requirements for shoes, tights, headpieces, and it's just to benefit the dancer. Hair requirements especially can even be a safety thing. We really are not going to be thrilled if headpieces are falling out on the stage, if tiaras are falling off. If you have any questions, we're happy to help pin all headpieces. So for today, I just have a flower headpiece. This is an alligator clip on the back, which might be similar to what a lot of us actually have. An alligator clip is not enough to hold it in. You could have the best, biggest, strongest alligator clip, you still pin your headpieces, always. If you have a headpiece with your costume that you are required to come wearing, when in doubt, you can bring it, we'll help with pinning, but if you feel pretty good about it. The standard is for the headpiece to go on the right side of the dancer's bun. So this is my right side. You want the headpiece to be showing kind of from all angles. When I clip this alligator clip, this is so kind of tedious, but I'm gonna put it this way. Just in the event that, say, something were to happen, I feel like if it's going face down, you just have that little extra security blanket. So you'll grab your pins on the two ends and securely slide that flower right on through. We're definitely gonna have to flatten it out. Thank you guys for being so awesome with all of the requirements for Spring Show, for Company, Nutcracker. We appreciate that everyone's putting their best foot forward to just get that nice, clean, classic, professional look.